is Savannah Cole, and I'm 27 years old. And if you think weddings are about love, family, and forever, wait until you see what mine became. Because while I walked down the aisle in a white dress, my entire family was laughing on a yacht in Maui, pretending I didn't exist. The betrayal didn't arrive with whispers or excuses. It came in a single text from my mother the night before. "We won't make it. Don't take it personally." No explanation. No apology. Just absence, packaged as indifference. But the knife twisted deeper hours later when my aunt posted the photo. Everyone smiling in paradise. The caption burned into my eyes. Peace. Family. No distractions. I stared at it in my bridal suite, veil trembling in my hands, heart numbed by the cruelty of it. Was I really the distraction? The stain they erased so they could have their picture-perfect trip? And as I stood there, guests bustling around me, waiting for a bride who suddenly felt orphaned in a room full of roses and violins, a question sliced through my chest. What happens when the people you call family celebrate everything except you? I didn't cry. I didn't scream. My silence was sharper than any words could be. That night, while my husband slept peacefully beside me, I opened the financial folder I had guarded for years. Inside was the emergency fund, money my father had trusted me to manage for the family's future crises. They thought I was their bookkeeper, their invisible safety net. But they forgot, my pain was the crisis. At 2:37 a.m., I froze every account, locked every transfer, sealed every card with a code only I knew. The fund wasn't gone, but it was no longer theirs to bleed. And with each click, I felt the ache in my chest cool into something harder. Steel. Because I wasn't going to beg for love anymore. I was going to make them remember the daughter they left behind. 7 days later, I got my wish. A pounding shook my front door at dawn. My father's voice thundered from the porch, raw with panic and rage. And without blinking, I opened the door, met his furious eyes, and announced the words that would turn their perfect little world upside down. Dad's fist rattled the doorframe as he bellowed, "Savannah, what the hell did you do?" Behind him, Mom stood with her arms crossed, sunglasses hiding her eyes like this was another Maui vacation, not the collapse of her empire. My brother Logan leaned against the car, smirking as if it was all just another one of my dramatic episodes. I didn't flinch. I leaned against the doorway, coffee in hand, my wedding ring glinting in the early light. "I did what you always told me to do," I said calmly. "Protect the family." Dad's face went crimson. "You froze the emergency fund. Do you have any idea? Your sister's mortgage, your brother's car payments, our credit lines." I cut him off with a quiet laugh. "So it wasn't for emergencies after all. It was your personal playground. Funny, considering you told me it was for life or death situations. I guess my wedding day didn't qualify." Logan finally pushed off the car, sauntering closer. "You're insane, Save. No one cared about your little party. We had better plans." Better plans. The words carved into me, sharper than any blade. I glanced at Mom, searching for even a flicker of guilt. Instead, she adjusted her bracelet and said flatly, "You embarrassed yourself. We spared you the shame of us sitting through it." The laugh that escaped me wasn't humor. It was something darker, more dangerous. "Spared me? Or spared yourselves?" Dad stepped closer, lowering his voice now, the way he did when he wanted to control the room. "Savannah, undo it. Now. Before you regret this." I let the silence stretch until I could hear the wind through the trees. Then I leaned forward, so close he could see his reflection in my eyes. "I don't regret it. And I won't undo it." Mom's lips curled. "Then you've made yourself an enemy of this family." The words might have crushed me once, but not now. I straightened, every nerve in me buzzing with defiance. "No, Mother. I've just made myself the only honest member of this family." For the first time, her mask cracked. And in that crack, I saw fear. Because she knew something no one else did, what else I had access to. The accounts weren't the only thing I'd frozen. I had a file that could turn their laughter in Maui into handcuffs in Manhattan. And tonight, I was going to open it. That evening, After the shouting at my door faded into the night, I sat in my small home office, the glow of my laptop illuminating the only thing more powerful than money: proof.
The file.
I'd been building it for years, quietly, carefully, like a shadow accountant. Every mistake they thought I'd made in their books was intentional, every discrepancy a breadcrumb. Transfers disguised as tuition. Car payments routed through fake business expenses. Maui vacations written off as networking trips. Every selfish indulgence my family had ever justified, I had the receipts. At first, I saved them because I wanted to feel sane. Because every time they called me dramatic, paranoid, or bitter, I needed something concrete to remind myself I wasn't crazy.
But now?
Now, this file was my weapon. I scrolled through line after line, each one a thread in the tapestry of their lies. Logan's BMW wasn't just a gift. It was registered under Dad's company, with insurance paid from the emergency fund. My sister Olivia's tuition? Triple billed, with half the money funneled into her secret shopping sprees. Even Mom, her charity fundraisers were nothing but laundering schemes for her own designer wardrobe. They thought I was the invisible one, the overlooked daughter, the family embarrassment. But invisibility makes you dangerous, because no one sees you watching. At 10:43 p.m., I drafted an email. Not to them, never to them, but to someone who would understand exactly what to do with what I'd collected. A journalist. I hesitated with my finger hovering over send. If I pressed it, the family name would shatter. Our polished reputation in this town would be nothing but shards. But then I remembered Maui. The caption.
Peace.
Family. No distractions. And I realized they had already destroyed our name. I was just removing the mask. I pressed send. A chill swept over me, equal parts terror and freedom. The journalist responded in less than an hour. This is huge. We'll need to verify everything. Can you meet tomorrow? I closed my laptop, heartbeat wild. Tomorrow, the world would start to see them as I had for years. But what I didn't know then was that the file wasn't just going to expose them. It was going to pull me into a spotlight I never expected. And someone in my family was about to make sure I didn't survive the glare. By morning, the war had already begun. My phone buzzed nonstop, unknown numbers, blocked calls, voicemails filled with threats disguised as pleas. Savannah, undo this. Savannah, think of the family. Savannah, you'll regret crossing us. I didn't answer a single one. Instead, I put on my navy blazer, tied my hair back, and went to work like it was just another Tuesday. Because if I acted normal, I had control. But control was fragile. At 11:07 a.m., my boss called me into her office. She closed the door gently, concern written across her face. Savannah, your mother came here. The room tilted. What? She tried to convince us you were unstable. She said you've been stealing company resources, and you won't like this. She implied we should terminate you before things got messy. I laughed, sharp and bitter. Classic Mom. Burning the ground before she lost the war. My boss leaned forward. I told her to leave. And Savannah, I believe you. But you should know, they're moving fast. I thanked her, heart pounding, and walked back to my desk with a new fire burning in my veins. If they thought smearing me would make me fold, they underestimated me. That night, I met the journalist in a quiet cafe. A man in his 40s with tired eyes and a voice lowered by years of secrets. He slid into the booth and said simply, "You've been living in their shadow, haven't you?" I pushed the flash drive across the table. Not anymore. He opened his laptop right there, scrolling through the files, his expression hardening with each click. This is airtight.
Fraud.
Tax evasion. Misuse of corporate funds. Savannah, this isn't just gossip. This is federal. The word hung between us like a thunderclap. Federal. For the first time, I felt the scale of what I'd done. As I left the cafe, the air sharp against my skin, my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't my parents. It was Olivia, my golden sister. Her message was just 5 words. Meet me. Alone. Midnight. No smiley face. No guilt. Just cold, calculated control. I stared at the screen, my pulse racing. Midnight. Alone. I knew what it meant. An ambush, a trap, one last attempt to scare me back into silence. But what Olivia didn't know was that I was done being scared. This time, I'd be the one setting the trap. Midnight tasted like iron in the air. I parked 2 blocks away from the address Olivia had sent. A half-finished condo project Dad's company had been developing for years. Empty shells of luxury apartments, glass half-installed, stairwells echoing with every step. A perfect place for secrets. I walked in with steady steps, my phone tucked in my pocket, recording. I wanted proof, not just of numbers and transfers, but of their voices. Their guilt. She was waiting on the 3rd floor, leaning against a concrete pillar, like she owned the night. Olivia, flawless even here, her hair pulled into a sleek bun, her designer coat glittering under a weak floodlight. "You really don't know when to quit," she said, her voice smooth cold. I crossed my arms. "Funny. I was about to say the same to you." Her smile was sharp enough to cut glass. "Savannah, you think sending some files to a washed-up journalist makes you powerful? You're a nobody. You'll always be a nobody." I let her talk, let her venom spill, every word caught by my phone. Then her tone shifted, lower, darker. "But if you hand everything over, delete it, burn it, I don't care. We can fix this. Mom and Dad will forgive you. We'll make sure you're taken care of." I laughed softly. "Taken care of? Like how you took care of me on my wedding day. Like how you took care of the emergency fund while smiling on a yacht." Her jaw tightened. For the first time, her perfect mask cracked. Then she stepped closer, her eyes gleaming. "Do you even realize what you've done? This isn't just about the family. You've tied yourself to federal charges. If we go down, you go down with us. Do you think they'll believe you, Savannah? The forgotten daughter with a grocery store job and no one to vouch for her." I stayed still, my heartbeat steady. "They'll believe the evidence." Her eyes narrowed. "Then maybe we should make sure there's no Savannah to testify." The words hung heavy, dangerous. Behind her, a shadow moved, just for a second. I froze. We weren't alone. Someone else was here. Olivia smirked like she knew it, like she wanted me to notice. I didn't show fear. I stepped back toward the stairwell, voice firm. "Careful, Olivia. Threats echo in places like this. And echoes carry farther than you think." Her smile faltered, because she didn't realize I'd already sent the recording live to the journalist. And the person hiding in the shadows? They weren't here for me. They were here for her. The shadow moved again, slow, deliberate. Olivia's voice wavered for the first time. "Who's there?" From behind the unfinished pillar stepped a man in a charcoal suit, his presence calm but commanding. His shoes didn't crunch on the dust. His voice didn't tremble. He was made of steel. "Olivia Brooks," he said evenly. "Federal Bureau of Investigation. We need to talk." Her perfect mask shattered. What are you doing here?" He flashed his badge, the gold gleaming under the floodlight. My chest tightened. "FBI. Not rumor. Not bluff.
Real."
And then his gaze shifted to me. "Ms. Savannah Brooks. You did the right thing." My throat went dry. I hadn't expected them to move this fast. I hadn't expected them here. Olivia recovered quickly, her voice dripping with ice. "Do you know who my father is? Do you have any idea what you're walking into? We own half this city." The agent didn't blink. Not anymore. I should have felt triumph, but my stomach nodded. Because if the FBI was here, then things had already spiraled far beyond my control. The agent turned to me. "Ms. Brooks, you need to come with me. Right now." Olivia laughed, a sharp, broken sound. "Of course. Drag her along, too. Make her believe she's the hero, when really she's just the pawn." Her words cut, but I didn't flinch. The agent leaned closer to me, lowering his voice. "Your family's been under investigation for months. Your files confirm everything. But there's more: money trails, offshore accounts. We need you safe before they realize how deep you've gone." A chill ran down my spine. Safe. The word didn't feel like a promise. It felt like a warning. Olivia must have seen it too, because her lips curved into a wicked smile. Savannah, don't you get it? They're not saving you. They're saving themselves. You'll take the fall, while Mom, Dad, and I walk free. The agent's jaw tightened. That's enough. But Olivia's words burrowed into me, seeds of doubt I couldn't shake. What if she was right? What if I had just set myself up to be the sacrifice? I glanced at my phone in my pocket, still recording, still transmitting. For a split second, Olivia and I locked eyes. Enemies, sisters, mirrors. Both trapped, both fighting. And in that silence, she mouthed 3 words I'll never forget. You'll regret this. The ride downtown felt like forever. The agent, his name was Special Agent McCarthy, sat beside me in the unmarked car, his face carved from stone. The city lights blurred past, but my thoughts were louder than the traffic, louder than the hum of the tires. Was I really free? Or just chained in a different way? We pulled up to a federal building, glass and steel rising like judgment itself. Inside, the halls smelled of disinfectant and cold coffee. He led me into a conference room, dropped a folder on the table, and slid it across. "Read," he said. My hands trembled as I flipped it open. Bank statements. Transfers. Property deeds. Not just in Olivia's name. Not just my parents'. In mine. My name stared back at me in black ink. My signature, perfectly forged but to the world real. My chest hollowed out. No, this isn't possible. I never signed any of this. McCarthy's gaze softened, but only slightly. We know, but proving it won't be easy. Your family has been laundering money through accounts set up in your identity for years. Offshore trusts. Shell companies. You're already on the radar as one of the beneficiaries. My world tilted. I whispered, so Olivia was right. I am the pawn. He didn't answer. That silence was the loudest truth of all. Then the door opened, and another agent stepped in, holding a phone. Sir, it's her. Olivia's voice crackled over speaker. Smooth, venomous. You really think Savannah's the victim? She's been in on it from the start. Check the accounts. She's the one cashing the dividends. Poor little sister, pretending to be the saint while living off dirty money. My breath caught. She was framing me, spinning the story before I could. McCarthy muttered under his breath, She's moving faster than expected. I slammed my hand on the table. You have the recordings, proof of what she said at the site. The agent with the phone shook his head grimly. They're already trying to discredit it, claiming it's fabricated. Panic pressed against my ribs, but beneath it, something else burned hotter, resolve. If Olivia wanted a war, I'd give her one. But not on her terms. Not with whispers and shadows. On my stage. I looked McCarthy in the eye, my voice steady. Then let's stop hiding. If they want a show, I'll give them one. The courtroom was packed. Reporters, strangers, old neighbors, all hungry for blood. The Brooks family scandal had exploded overnight. Headlines screamed betrayal, corruption, millions hidden overseas. But the most whispered name wasn't Olivia's. It was mine. The judge's gavel echoed like thunder. My parents sat stiff, stone-faced, while Olivia smirked across the aisle, radiant in her own arrogance. She believed she'd won, convinced the world I was the fraud. But I hadn't walked in unarmed. When it was my turn, I stood, my palms steady, my voice clear. My name is Savannah Brooks, and for years, I carried their shame while they carried their secrets. Today, I return them. I pressed play. On the screen behind me, Olivia's face flickered to life. Her voice, dripping with contempt, filled the room. Savannah, don't you get it? They're not saving you. They're saving themselves. You'll take the fall while Mom, Dad, and I walk free. Gasps rippled through the chamber. Olivia's smile fractured, piece by piece, until nothing was left. I turned back to the jury. You wanted proof. You wanted truth. Here it is in her own words. Silence thundered. The judge leaned forward, his eyes burning holes through Olivia. My parents shifted uneasily, the weight of decades pressing down. And for the first time in my life, I saw it, fear in their eyes.
Not mine. Theirs.
The verdict came swift.
Fraud. Conspiracy. Perjury.
My name was cleared. Theirs would forever be stained. Outside the courthouse, the air was crisp, the sky unclouded. I stood on the steps, cameras flashing, voices calling my name. But I wasn't performing for them. This wasn't a show. This was release. Olivia had once told me I'd regret standing against her. But as I walked down those steps, my shoulders light, my future untangled from their chains, I realized the opposite was true. She had lost her crown. My parents had lost their empire. And I had gained something they never could. Peace. No revenge louder than silence. No justice sharper than truth. And as the world moved on, I finally did too.